You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons production. Visit us at mashthosebuttons.com.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to Double Tap. This is Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. I am your host, Dre, aka Crash, and with me, as per usual, we've got Static Gorilla in the building. What's going on,
happening?
homie?
Que pasa, Calabas? I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah,
it's a throwback to a couple episodes ago. Yeah,
we're fresh off of our Kiss of the Dragon binge fest.
Yeah,
that went down post his stream. If you guys stay tuned to his stream at Static Gorilla on Twitch.
Yep.
We're posting. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah,
Jet Li is a goddamn national treasure.
Yeah,
he is an international goddamn treasure.
Yeah, I'd say so myself. I mean, like, his movies are good. Now, is he like stunt wise Jackie? No. Is he like the best? No. But you gotta admit, his movies are really damn good.
Jet Li is like the hood version of Jackie Chan. You know, he did the DMX joints, right? He's the DMX movies and stuff. Romeo Must Die. Yo, fire. That's what Jet Li is. He's just the hood, bro. He's the dude that has been claimed by the hood. He just happens to be a martial artist as well. Well, Jackie Chan's kind of more like higher society. And then we got Tony Jaa somewhere who's really underground. Yeah. Kind of. Not really. Like,
then you got Sammo Hung, who's just the boss.
And then Sammo Hung is just the godfather, right? He's just always there. He is the aforementioned godfather of it all. All right, so guys, real quick tangent. Meza won't be joining us this week. He's got some things to take care of. That's all good. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got some announcements. We've got some future announcements that we're going to be talking about that are happening tomorrow. We've got some campaigns that are getting pushed, I guess, for some ports of some certain games. You know, we'll take you guys for a long ride for that. And then we've got some numbers to take a look at in a really interesting focus attack as well. So I'm really stoked to get into it. So let's get started right off the bat. Before we get started, if you're new, we appreciate you guys coming in and listening to the podcast. If you're a returning listener, we appreciate the 2 extra quarters for another credit this week. This is Double Tap, of course, podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community. If you did not already recognize that from the rip, now you know. So let's get into it. Fighters Corner off the rip. We've got new Melty Blood. It's not a trailer. This is actually a battle preview, right? Or no, it's a character introduction. So she is, I think, an announcement to being in the game. I don't remember her being there prior.
Oh yeah, I do.
Disclaimer: I will state it again and again. I am not the biggest of Melty Blood heads. I will not pretend to be. I will not say I am. But I will learn. I will definitely learn. But what is it? Akiha Tono has been added to the list. Yeah, let's go with that. That's her name.
So she's looking very Carmine-like. But
very.
She was in my Mugen game back when I was like in high school that my friend made. She was totally into Melty Blood, and I remember the red hair a lot. And I just remember her being kind of impressive, but she wasn't as good in my game. So I was like, oh, whatever. But it reminds me a lot of like Carmine / like Ori. I guess you kind of
I can see
Ori,
it.
but like
we got traps.
Yeah,
we got what could be set play. You know, in the building here. She looks oppressive for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was a command grab we saw. About 20 seconds in or something like that.
Yeah, she's looking quite strong. But what's funny is, they're showing also she's fighting the maid character, or not maid. I'd say witch maid character. I don't know. Girl with the broom. I'm kind of like, oh snap, she's in this game too. These trailers are sort of showing a character on the other side, and I'm like, wait a minute, they're also in this game.
Hold the fuck up. We're not just gonna pass by the fact that you're telling me so and so is also in this game, but. Yeah, so she's been announced. We're most likely going to see maybe a battle preview afterwards that kind of breaks down what her capabilities are. But she's been added to the list. I mean, September 30th is release date for Melty. So we're already in August. This is August 1st or August 2nd, excuse me, is the time of this recording. It's going to be here in no time. The summer is just going by so quick. So before we know it, we're going to have yourself a new Melty Blood. Everyone's going to be stop. I don't know if the Strive train's ever really going to stop. I mean, we'll talk more about that later. But plenty of people are definitely going to be getting off to go play some Melty Blood for sure.
They've quite derailed. Yeah. So speaking of high schoolish type characters, we have Athena showing up in King of Fighters. Now we all expected a silhouette to be maybe Angel or somebody related. Now we were expecting
it didn't fit.
Right.
It didn't fit.
But we were expecting it to be somebody that that's a third character for a team, like the ladies or and it was for the girls. Yeah.
Yeah, completely forgot actually. When the trailer finished up, after we got to see all the Psycho Ball goodness that we're gonna be hearing for a good time. I was very surprised to see that. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The Mai and Yuri team was never finished. Like it's actually been quite some time now. They complete. This is not so much subdue or what is it? Crush all expectations or whatever. But I just honestly forgot my expectation is what it was. So we got to see Athena in full blown aesthetics, as many sparkles as you can throw at her, with a new haircut, by the way. That's the other thing that threw me off. She doesn't have her long hair that she's actually, to my knowledge, has always had. I don't think we've ever seen a radical design for her like this. Not even in Heroines or anything like that. She was all long haired. So that's the other thing that threw me off. I'm a fan. Like the short hair. Kind of looks good. I dig.
It's a huge redesign. I really like it a lot.
She's all over the place too, as expected. Teleports, Psycho Balls. Looks like hella damage potentially. But,
she translates well. It looks like they nerfed her crouch heavy punch. If you go to the start of the video, it's like not very far. Not that start. May want to fast forward a little bit to the.
There we go.
Yeah,
let's see.
New stage by the way.
New stage by the way. Yeah, France.
She looks straight up like Yuna with that hair. What can I do for you, right? So that crouch punch, that thing. I mean, it hits kind of far, but it looked like it wasn't really,
Yeah,
and the pushback was ridiculous.
Yeah,
well, you could get that into 6K into the roll, which they do show, so to speak.
Okay,
and she has that's her knockback. They have that's a command grab and it throws them up in the air. She still has she translates well into the game. She has almost everything you'd expect or you'd see. But she looks like she's still going to be impressive and really good and almost like nobody's stopping her still. Marco Polo's going nuts.
Yeah, straight up. She is all over the place. But yeah, so this was honestly, my expectation was definitely shattered when she was announced. And I like I said, I promptly forgot that she was then going to fill that last team, or not that last team, because the last team is Team Mexico. We're expecting the Angel trailer really, really soon. That was honestly the expectation they threw off. Maybe, we were expecting Angel, but it turned out not to be. First of all, this is the cutest Frieza ball I've ever seen in my life. Death ball. Totally. Like that's she's basically what she's doing. She's just like, all she has to be all like saying is like, aha, goodbye monkeys.
Tatsugeki.
It's like, it's Tatsugeki something. It's like, it's just, that's like the face of just pure evil. Like anything that's that cute, it's like there's death behind her.
You just look at her and be like, I'm the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So she rounds out the team. That threw me completely off because I was like, wait, who the hell else? And I just forgot. So Team Heroine is the team now with Mai, Yuri, and Athena. Which is going to be cool. I don't think they've been in a team together before, or this is Team Super Heroine, Super Heroine, and it just sounds like a drug that you can definitely get out in the streets for real cheap and give you a really high buzz. I'm sorry, I kept saying it. I was just like, God, this sounds so bad. Yeah, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm not the marketing team here.
So does that sort of what's that called? Unconfirmed Kenso? I hope not.
Don't know.
Isn't she in a team with Kenso and Chin?
I believe so. It's Kenso, her, and what is it, Chen, right?
Yeah.
I gotta double check, but I think that should be the team.
It's Kenso, Chin, and I was right. Yeah, Psycho Soldier team. Mm-hmm.
Yep, the Psycho Soldier team, exactly. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do if those other characters are going to make it in, or like you said, are they deconfirmed? We'll find out. I'm just waiting for Angel to show up so they can round out Team Mexico. That's going to be around the corner most likely. But in the meantime, we got some Athena. Hoorah, people are happy. She's kind of a bit of a crowd favorite.
Yeah. I mean, look at how many views. Did you see how many views? About 300K.
300K?
Yep.
Yeah. I think, let's actually take a quick scouring look. Sort by. Let's take most popular.
Damn.
Shermie still wins right now. Okay. She's over 1 mil. Next closest that is Yashiro. And the funny thing is that a lot of this might also happen because of Shermie, because I think she links to his because they're on the same team. You got
Yeah.
Kyo, but then Mai was actually the one that was holding it down for quite some time. But as you can see, besides Kyo and Iori, we have YSC, which is the other team with Shermie, Yashiro, and Chris. They're the ones that are really actually up there. And I want to say a lot of that is because of that
Zooming
right
in.
there. Oh, I came and zoom. Oh, hold on, let me see. Yeah, that right there.
Okay.
All that boba is what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 700K still in 2 days. I think she should be cracking. She should be up here actually. Yuri, wait. Where is she?
Well,
Am I tripping? Oh wait, no. Am I
no,
tripping? Where did
I
she's
don't
not
know
even
where
on the
she
playlist
is.
here.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, interesting.
Andy
All right.
Bogart is
Oh,
way
never
down
mind.
there.
She's down here.
Ah, okay.
Wait, 300K. I guess it didn't. It hasn't adjusted
Yeah,
yet
it
because she's
just came
definitely.
I don't know.
Oh wait, I thought. Why did I say 700K?
No,
Did it
I
not just
always
say
said 300K.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was writing
Yeah.
it wrong. Oh, I was reading it wrong. But okay,
Okay.
300K. 400K, pretty good. Yeah. So people are pretty stoked for that. So besides that, that DLC, besides that piece of information, there's some remix that we have to go down. So real quick, actually, before we get into the data mining that we were initially going to talk about, let's just get a quick synopsis. Have you played Gold Lewis, aka
not.
John Goodman, aka I have a coffin as a weapon?
So I have
you don't know what I'm
not.
talking about.
He's on PlayStation. I haven't played on PlayStation. I just spent the whole day playing Persona 5 today. That was fun. And
It's been out for like a week, man. Come on.
what, P5? I know, right? No, Gold Lewis. Yeah, you're right. He's husky. He hurts like a truck.
Yeah.
I used melee
Yeah.
against him. I got hit twice and died. I used Ino. I still get hit twice and die.
Yeah.
But I have to be on my A game against him. Mr. Fu beat me in about, I think, 20-5 against my Ino. Just from just corner pressure stuff. And like if I messed up once, it was just game over. Like I had to be on my A game. Diaphone has been using him quite consistently.
I think he did a tournament run with him. Recently.
On Sunday.
Mhm.
So I think he's really good. His flaws, I'd say, well, his strengths are his chip damage. That gun is
Mhm.
super good. The knockdown bomb is not that good. I think the chip gun is much stronger. The Invul super is super duper good.
Yeah. Only reversal he has.
Yeah, but it's still, you spin around, do the thing. And that one is even better. Like, it's worth it. Like, if you miss it, okay. Because playing somebody like me, like, I have to always go in and I have to make a hard read. And even though it's a whole character length in front of him. But weaknesses, like we said, only one reversal. He's slow. He only has an air dash. He doesn't have two jumps, right? Just one jump?
No. Just one jump. That's it. Air dash.
Probably one of the best jump ins in the game.
Jumping D.
Two good jump ins. Two good jump ins, by the way.
Jumping D and what?
And
What's
a spinning, whatever he spins upside down with. The spinning coffin
that one's,
move.
I think that's HS. Yeah.
So good.
Looks
So
like a
good.
Tony Hawk pro skater trick.
Yeah. Straight rocket air or something.
Yeah.
Or the 900. I don't know. And then there are people actually putting up videos of the satellite super on the wall, bringing them off of the wall, and then you can keep a combo going instead of wall
I haven't
bouncing.
seen that one yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all the tech for him, so I had a chance to sit down with him literally day of. We do
Last Tuesday.
I host casuals on Tuesdays called Kara Cancel. It was the day that he dropped, so a lot of players were just jumping in. This is day 0. Let's have some fun. I got to sit down with him and really get a feel. I didn't look for tech. It was day 0 for one, so the tech was just getting built, but it was just getting a feel for him. Yeah, he's good. I don't think he's incredible.
No.
I think he's going to suffer, and I think he will suffer very much because yes, he's got really good. Like if you make a mistake on him, you're going to be punished for it. But I mean, if you have buttons that are above, I think 7 frames or something, like I don't think his fastest button is 7 frames. Like that's a whole lot of the cast that can probably poke out of a lot of things that he's doing. And you just have to look for it too. That's the thing. Like for me, in a sense of like being a Leo player, I can like DP through any of his behemoth typhoons because it's not a real block string. it's even if some were really close to a block string, or real close tight knit block string, like DPing right through, no problem. Can do it on reaction.
It's a luxury.
The chain gun, I know, but it's not just me. But imagine all the other characters that do have reversals like that. Like he can get punished for it. 6B, very susceptible to 6B. He's got great buttons, but unlike his Behemoth Typhoons, he is jointed with those hitboxes. It's not disjointed. That's why those Behemoth Typhoons are so good, because there is no hurtbox in front of it initially, so you can't just like poke them. You have to like dash poke, so chance of Giovanna, your Milias, your Chips, whoever can get like really fast reaching moves really quickly. Will be able to just kind of oppress him. He cannot deal with oppression. That's the other one. You put him in a corner, he doesn't have super, like you're going in. Like you just go in. There's nothing he can press that's like he has like standing 5S, I believe, where it's the punch. It's really good. It's got like the gap from his arm down. There's no hurt box there, but like it's kind of fast. It's one of his faster buttons, but it's still, I think, in the double digits. He's fun. You get the hit, bro. Like that, you are going to bleed. You are going to bleed. So he's got the Axel complex, where Axel has only one reversal, right, to super, and then burst. Those are the two factors you really have to, as a player, understand, and they're valued 2-3 times even more than usual. And it's the same for Gold Lewis. Like if you have burst, like you're gonna use this burst to maybe get gold. 9 times out of 10 you want to get gold, because for one, you get all those resources, or B, it's going to be your only other defensive options outside of having meter. But unless you get the hit and you get the wall break, like it's going to be kind of hard to get the meter. But him constantly running back and forth, like you do have to respect that space. He does command a certain amount of space, which is good. But some matchups, like your Axels, like I was just talking about earlier, are nightmares for him. Some people were saying they was 9-1. Realistically, some people like I got to see an exhibition between Princess Slim and Nerd Josh, both prominent Axel players. Nerd Josh, though, went on to play more Gold Lewis than anything to really understand the matchup. Even he's stating it's more of like a 6-4, he wants to say, maybe a 6.5, but he doesn't think it's actually that terrible. And I think that was probably one of the best situations, because you have two very well-known Axel players, very talented Axel players that are constantly getting top 8s in such in tournaments. Really giving their all and really understanding the character and getting their perspective on it. If you haven't already, make sure to go check out Nerd Josh on Twitch. He has, I believe, a VOD of that entire session. So if you want to get a breakdown of it, and Princess Slim playing, go follow both of them. You'll see it there. But the character's got his flaws like everyone else, but he's fun. I think he's just fun. Yep. Like that is just the end of the day, fun. Yep. But does fun get you dubs? I don't know. It's a very few rare case where that is the situation, and it would be great. But I think Gold Lewis, I mean, it's still early, right? It's only week 1. Let's just wait. The more tournaments, the more, if we see one crack the top 8, then we'll start really noticing some things. But until then, he's just relegated to DLC that is being worked on.
Yeah, who's the guy that's posting tech? I think it's that Rufus player. That was from Street Fighter 4, obviously. Japanese guy. Oh, was it a Japanese guy? No. He wasn't Japanese. That's all right. Keep going. You saw some data mining videos, didn't you?
Yes. So with Gold Lewis being added last week, we got we had an update, right? An update isn't just allowing the character in, but also the updated backend of Guilty Gear has changed. In a sense of, we have some new data to mine, like you said earlier. So actually, with Gold Lewis being added, there's a slew of other things that really get added on the back end. For one, it's voice lines, and voice lines obviously that he has per character in the intro screens. What's very interesting, if you remember the characters that we had previously covered in the data mining, being Happy Chaos, Jam, Jacko, Gold Lewis, of course, was one of them, and then oh my goodness, that man Asuka. Those were the 5 characters that we have really seen things like assets. Like we got to see Gold Lewis's aliens, arms, and everything. Like that was already data mined early on. It wasn't fully finished, but they were the files were there, meaning this was a build that was still getting worked on. Now, took a look at the data mining that has gone in. I forget the gentleman's name. I think I got Rufamonger's video up real quick, and I believe posted up who it was, giving them shout outs to them. It is Lean_Buscaglia on Twitter _. make sure to go follow if you haven't had a chance. The Data Mining did a huge thread, and we got to see some voice lines. You might wonder, oh, great, it's just voice lines, not a big deal. Yes, but the names of certain voice lines that currently don't exist, or rather aren't used anywhere, are what's interesting. We're seeing voice lines between Gold Lewis and a character of COS, that being what we're understanding is going to be Happy Chaos. Then, of course, we have JKO, that's Jacko, aka Arya. And then afterwards, this is when it gets very, very interesting. Not that it's already interesting, because, like I said, some of these are basically confirming it. Jacko, he's stating is everyday Halloween. Let's go home and eat. Things like that. It's like, okay, it's pretty clear these are intros meant for that character. But what gets really interesting is now these two other characters that are not the initial characters that we had already data mined, seem to have a placeholder, or rather have replaced any kind of voice line positions for them, and that is a character with an acronym of SLY. For those that are my Guilty Gear heads,
Sylvester.
you know that as Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
Absolutely. No, it's Slayer, our other vampire of the known game right now, and I think there was no. There we go. At first, I was seeing that there was no text, but then we actually got to see the voice lines where Gold Lewis asks, "What about you? A withered tree? When does a vampire retire? I'll make sure you're well paid." So it's a back and forth between.
Yeah.
Or I think this is all just him talking, but it's basically confirming another vampire character with that acronym. That's Slayer. That's pretty easy. It makes sense. I believe they're trying to explore Nago a bit more in the following story. There is an additional story being added, and Nago being a vampire character.
We need Ramlethal.
Makes sense.
As well. She wasn't in the story at all.
There's also a bunch of other
Faust.
characters that just were not. No Faust, no Ram. They were not present at all. So the fifth character, obviously we're not including Gold Lewis. Gold Lewis is the first one I dropped. So the fifth character is the one that a lot of people are tripping out about, myself included. I was very, very stoked about this. It starts with a BKN, standing for Biken. So it's pretty wild. It's pretty awesome to see that, we could be seeing. It's not 100% confirmed, but it's sounding pretty good, because they're talking about, what about Asuka's or that man's like assets that we saw in there. Apparently those were actually dated assets. There were jam assets in there that people were tripping out about, but those were actually meant for lighting and testing purposes. They were like Exard models. They just got changed up a bit. There's even like a legless Johnny model in there that they use just to actually test like finger animations, right? Like there's a lot of things in the back you have to like really look into. So there's a chance that Jam and Asuka could have been like early on, the idea of them being drafted for, but maybe around the time of the voting for the characters, they look back and they're like, okay, Biken, kind of won 3 out of the 4 regions for number 1, and she was still top 4 or top 2 for the last one. So kind of makes sense to have her in. So there's a chance that we will be seeing her in this season, or Slayer. I mean, it's August. We're supposed to be getting another character this month, and it will be a returning character. So if this is to be true, we could be getting either Slayer or Biken this month, which would be pretty cool, because it would make sense for Jacko to be in October. / Arya, because Jacko Valentine, it just makes sense. We can throw September for Happy Chaos, and then that rounds us the year until whenever the next DLC comes out.
Like I was saying, I feel like these first characters that are coming were already planned, to be in the game, because of, the whole COVID situation probably stopped them from developing the characters that were in the story mode already anyway. So they may have already been planned to be in the game. They said, let's halt to that,
Potentially, yeah, absolutely. Remember, the initial 5 characters were meant to be part of the game. They wanted to come out with 20 characters from the rip. And right now, I think the only characters that are missing from the initial roster are Slayer, Biken. It was Jam in the first. Jam wasn't in the first one, right? Jam started in.
Jam
GG.
was in. She was in. Oh, you mean the base?
In
base?
Double X, yeah. In base.
She was in XX. Yeah, Jam started in XX. Slayer and Eno started in
XX.
No, they reload.
Oh, reload. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. In their first X. Sorry, Dreamcast Guilty Gear X was Jam and Angie. They were the first. And Johnny.
So Biken and Slayer were initially in the first game as well.
No, not Slayer. Slayer, no. Slayer was back in Reload.
Okay, excuse me. Well, and Bike is the only one, I believe. Then.
And Testament we're missing.
And Testament, sorry. Yeah, Testament. But yeah, we're not going to see Cliff, though.
We're not going to see Cliff.
I don't know. We're going to see Cliff, dude.
And if we see Cliff, we're going to see him with a knife rather than a big sword.
Yeah,
he's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see Cliff again. But like,
it would be hype. Would be young Cliff. That would
because the only reason I bring up original cast because that's what Daisuke they talked about at some point. Yep. They were like, we want to bring the original cast in. It was a big thing for them to do it. But like you said, COVID probably had some. Had changed the plans a bit, but doesn't mean now we can't potentially be seeing them. So I'm pretty stoked. I'm hoping for some sort of announcement very, very soon because, like I said, it's the beginning of August. They just dropped Go Lewis at the last week of July. I mean, they could do the same thing again with August, but they should at least get some sort of lead up to it. So that's really the Remix on DLC segment that we wanted to talk about there. I know that was a pretty long-winded one, but it was a lot of information. This came out literally the day after the last show, so I was like, damn, yeah, we got to cover this. But yeah, so besides that, what other things we got going on here? Oh yeah, so Skullgirls. This is a small little update. For those that know we've been following Skullgirls, their season 1 pass dropped. The official game release. There's plenty of other characters that are coming out, but the most recent one is Umbrella. Little sister to Parasol. Currently not released yet, but funny enough, if you have the season 1 pass, you can actually play her alpha version right now. It's not a completely finalized version of her. Clearly, some of the animation frames probably are not finished up, but it does not stop them from actually going down and letting her be accessed. Because it's also a good way to tweak the character, and it's an alpha. Most likely, you're probably gonna play some sort of beta version on Steam, so it's not affecting the official release. But if you haven't already, Season Pass players on Steam will be able to play her very, very soon. They haven't announced a full date yet, but this was a recent announcement during the championships, which, by the way, Sonic Fox ended up taking that 3-0. So shout outs to Fox for winning that one.
Yeah, playing what he likes.
Yeah,
what they like.
What he likes. Man, what they like, exactly. Isn't that what it is? We'll talk more about what we all like in a little bit. So besides that, we have another announcement that we're going to be covering for sure next week, the results, because it's happening tomorrow as per usual. The summer update 2021. I feel like we've been doing this summer update for Street Fighter since a year ago. Oh wait, right. We have.
It was almost as soon as Gold Lewis was released, they announced August 5th would be the day that they would make an announcement. Then, like the next day, it changed to August 3rd. And
like, wait, no, yeah. no, the 3rd. We got it. Trust, right. we got it. So, yeah, God, man, I don't know how. I don't know how this DLC just got watched the way it did.
Yeah, Intel was all happening. They must have been like, "Oh my God, thank God it's done. Let's go, please."
It makes sense. That makes sense. They were probably at the will of it. You can't just introduce, balance changes, a brand new character in the middle of such an integral season like that. They had to probably wait till that finished. But that's probably what went down.
So here's the two things that probably happened. That they were like, "God, Guilty Gear is kicking our ass hard," and we have nothing to show because we're doing the Intel thing. That's our main focus. And Punk said that. Punk said what he said last week about, "Oh yeah, I'm playing Guilty Gear," and it's like, oh man, you just opened up a can of worms.
I thought he was talking about how he's the clutchest player in the world. Okay,
yeah, he's the clutchest. And then remember in the interview. So, what are you gonna do next? I think I'm just gonna stick to playing Guilty Gear, and it's like,
well, they asked him, how are you going to practice for the game with such a stacked bracket? Because now you're going to CPT, or the Capcom company. He's like, are you gonna, go ahead and practice? He's like, nah, I think I'm just gonna play Guilty Gear, and it's just like, holy shit. And then he did say some shit on the netcode, but then he went on to praise Street Fighter afterwards. But like, you know what? He could do that. He could do that. Funny enough, I didn't get a chance to see the video, but Seijan posted a video saying commentators are replaceable. And he shows a picture on his thumbnail of like him getting ripped while Punk is like laughing or in his interview and stuff. Yeah. Obviously addressing that. What I said earlier, I'm like, Seijan went the same path, but unfortunately he wasn't in the same position as someone like Punk.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So remember how I said it was supposed to be August 5th? August 5th was last year's tweet. Somebody retweeted last year's tweet and it picked up. And now
it's literally like a year ago, man. We've been in the summer update since last year.
Yeah. So the new summer update is the one that has all the nice. It is August 3rd. Okay, I see here. I remember the August 5th one.
So we're gonna be getting 1 hour of the latest info on Street Fighter V Season 5 content, which is Oro, Akira, and more. And word on the street is that the final character will be confirmed as a guest character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a guest of what? Will it be a guest from another IP within Capcom? Will it be a guest from a completely different IP outside of the realm of Street Fighter? We don't know. Will we see it tomorrow? Let's take some bets. I will personally send you a double tap shirt if you tell me, if you vote yes, if you get it right. I want to, you know what, in the Discord, when we post it to the Discord, I will put it up there. When we put the Discord there, I want you to tag yourself, or tag me and Static Gorilla, and tell us whether or not you think we will see the character. If it is before 3 p.m. PDT, which is 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or 3 o'clock Pacific, whether or not we're going to get the 5th character, yes or no. If you are correct, I will send you out double tap shirts. Hand on the Bible,
good.
Somewhere
I have no idea who it's going to be.
But I will do it.
Where are they
I don't know who's
going to
be either. I'm not saying that. I just want to know whether or not it's a 50-50.
I'm not even going to go into it right now.
But
just gotta figure
all right,
it out.
so August 3rd, we're going to be seeing it at 5 o'clock. I don't know, maybe, what's tomorrow? 5 o'clock? I don't know if we'll do a reaction stream to it, because I think we're all going to be a little busy, but we can bet we'll cover it next week for sure. But I'm more excited to see Akira. I'm more excited to finally get to see Akira and have her break down like what her toolkit's going to be like, because she's been the most anticipated character in all the DLC so far. So I'm here and ready.
Yes.
In the meantime, speaking of crossovers, I guess it would be a good time to talk about the campaign that has been taking a lot of FGC heads' Twitter feeds
in the randoms of the FGC
by storm that you might be seeing out there. Gabe,
yes.
Fill us on the details.
So yeah, by the way, that was going to do it for the Fighters Corner. We're in the randoms now. Yeah, Maximilian has put up a video today that was about, hey guys, I want to talk about Marvel 2 and those. Anyway, why does he sound like anyway? So the arcade cabs that he has in the back, those are the arcade 1-ups. Apparently they have LAN. They're connected to the internet as well. Basically he goes into detail about how Street Fighter 30th Anniversary wasn't great, but it was a good port on PC, but it still had the right idea. Executed weirdly, but had the right idea in making something good for Street Fighter. Now, he's pretty much talking about, like, it's been 20 years since the game came out. It's been about 13 or 14 years since it was released on Xbox 360 and PS3. Now, you can't even buy them anymore. So it's been since, 2014 or so that we can't buy the game, or unless you just go online and you got to play the game, like online and, like, pirate it, basically. But there's no real way, and he's just trying to, like, bring it back into updated consoles, because it's a game that is pretty much like what brought a lot of people either into Marvel or into the FGC. I mean, it put us where we are now, and it's like the hugest nostalgia. Like, you put in X-Men, you put in all the 90s tropes of, like, it's almost Marvel versus Capcom 2 is the culmination of everything fighting game related that happened from like 91 all the way up, and like that's the peak of fighting game arcades, I would say. So with all of that being said, he released the hashtag free Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm sorry, did I put a U there? I meant to MVC. Free MVC 2. Sorry, I'm so used to writing UMVC 3 regularly. But I hope my real tweet was actually.
I think your tweet was fine.
Okay.
But yeah. So basically, Maximilian took to his platform to really, see if we can push the interest of getting an updated version of this game. I think it's incredible, good intentions. Absolutely. Max definitely lives and breathes this series. I mean, without it, honestly, it was his breakout hit, right? Was the Assist Me series that was the sequel to this game, but he was, much a fan, like many of us, before Marvel 3. But Marvel 3 was the real point for a lot of people in the modern fighting games. But, before that, it was Marvel 2 and Marvel Superheroes and such, right? Like, just the entire Versus series, that whole idea of the quintessential, most ambitious crossover mankind has ever seen, right? Fuck the Avengers. That's just one franchise. We did both, dog. So, he took to YouTube, to his platform to state it, and then it's just been a lot of positive feedback on it to go ahead and do it. It will be insane.
Right. I was gonna say Digital Eclipse is the were the ones that did the Street Fighter 30th anniversary, and they've done a couple of other ones, and apparently, yeah, they've raised enough money. What does that say? 6 million, he said. In the GoFundMe, apparently, like they've got money, and they're like, tell us what we're funded. What are we gonna make? What are we redoing? What are we bringing back up? Apparently, there was another group. It's funny. I remember Digital Eclipse made like my Spider-Man game on Game Boy Advance, I think.
Wow.
If that was right, I don't remember if it was that or some other game. Anyway, but yeah, I think they can do it. It's not that it's impossible. We have seen something like this happen before. We've even seen it with Ultimate Marvel 3, and we didn't even expect Ultimate Marvel to come to PS3 and 4. Sorry, to PS4. I said PS3, and even PC. Like, we had no idea, and the way that happened, that just popped off hard.
Yeah, I think also it's just the Marvel versus Capcom series has always been such a touchy subject in terms of like licensing, right? Because like characters in the Marvel brand at the time was even a different beast.
It was
right?
just Marvel
like,
Comics.
It was just Marvel Comics, right? Like, they sold their rights to Spider-Man a few years after this game was released, right? So they had to deal with probably Sony when they did Ultimate Marvel or just Marvel 3 in general. They don't own all the X-Men. Some X-Men are owned by Marvel, some are not. Like Cable and Deadpool were not owned by Marvel, I believe. Or at least Deadpool wasn't. Omega Red, I remember hearing that Omega Red wasn't technically owned by Marvel. There's so many intricacies as to who owns what character, and that's just one franchise. And you have Capcom, who is also, a not an American company. We're talking about two companies from two completely different regions and laws and ideas for their IPs, right? And it's different now. Then Marvel doesn't even own Marvel anymore. Disney owns Marvel. So now you're talking a franchise that is owned by such a global conglomerate, and you have to deal with them in terms of the nitty gritty as to whether they will allow these characters, especially because now they're the movies, right? You got the movies, they're multi-billion-dollar movies. They're making so much money. They're very careful where their IPs are at, even if it's stuff that they've done in the past, right? Like, do they want to really, have that happen? That it's such an interesting situation. That's just one aspect, right? Like you said, the coding's another one, but I'm sure they can do that, right? This is, if people can make null DC network, then you can just play any Dreamcast game online and play with your homies on PC. Like, I'm sure they can code this natively into the PlayStation, the Sony or the virtual console market for sure. Overall, it's like I said, it's a positive endeavor. I hope to hear more from it. It's not just this game, but there are other games that people are looking at, voting for, want to get Digital Eclipse to get involved in. But Max is doing what he can, and also it's a community thing. So if you have interest in doing it, make sure to go use the hashtag free MVC2, post it up, tag, retweet, send it out there, get the interest booming, because then we could see it. I don't see any reason why we couldn't come together and have Marvel show up for another generation.
Shoot,
versus it being like a relic, but a good relic, like one of those like you had to be there, versus like you can experience it now, right now. You can just download it. Takes you 5 minutes on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Steam Deck, whatever, right? And then and be able to experience it. That's really the idea of it, and of course updating it so that way you can play it with everyone else, so we can all experience the bullshit that is MSP all over again, or MSS, or Team Clockwork, or whatever. Or Team Santhrax, all those good olds.
And there would have been so much more if pandemic didn't happen. Like, in an alternate timeline, 2020 would have been the Marvel 2 year with all of these stuff happening for Evo. Well, granted, there were two things that happened. Evo got
COVID
dumped,
didn't happen, and Evo didn't
got
self-destruct.
Yeah. But there were still build-ups. Like, April Annihilation was supposed to be the Marvel event, and
that started all off.
And two of the West Coast ones, So we would have seen a lot of good Marvel 2 last year either way. Well, no, if it hadn't happened, if we're going to that alternate timeline. The Nexus event happened, right?
The Nexus event happened, exactly.
Shout out to Loki. All right, so free MVC2.
Free MVC2. All right, so with that, let me see.
What is
else we
this
got
Street
now.
Fighter 2 long lost thing? What are you talking about?
Talk about relics, man. Listen, I'm sure a bunch of you out there, you're fans of Street Fighter. It's cool. We are too. I'm sure you're fans of Street Fighter 2. It's cool. We are too. A bunch of you are probably fans of Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, which is, still referenced as some of the best fighting you can get 100%. In that franchise there. The Chun-Li Vega fight is just timeless. Yeah. The homegirl gave him an Indian burn to his face with her heel, and picked up a whole fucking couch and threw it at him. It's crazy. So,
yep.
So at that time in the 90s, the very, very crazy times that were the 90s, which was, 20 something plus years ago, when the movie came out, there was a long lost, often talked about video that was a one-off 20 something minute video that Capcom created for the Fujiwara Capital, I think it was a historic event or restoration event. And it was just a one-off video that it just showed Street Fighter characters walking around the actual capital itself. And it's really a giant history lesson. But it was created by the same studio that did the Street Fighter 2 animated movie. And that movie had such a very pristine style. It was very nice. It was incredible. I still look back on that movie a whole lot.
It was realistic. That's what it was.
And it still ages very, very well today. Yep. So this one-off video has since been myth, talked about, rumored, posted in forums of the now deceased Shoryuken forums for sure, has resurfaced. And not only has it resurfaced, but it has also been English subbed. So you can actually watch it and understand. I had a chance to sit down and watch it. It was an entire history lesson. I learned a lot. And it was just crazy to see these Street Fighter characters that were once animated in the style that I remember from that movie, and voiced by the same actors as well, in a new light. It was actually incredible. It's funny. It's very informative. And I enjoyed a whole lot of it. Like I said, it was overall just a learning experience. And I enjoyed it a whole lot. And it's free right now. You can go watch it online. It's been uploaded. So you guys can go check it out. I checked it on the YouTube page. Street Fighter 2, the Yoigaru Fujiwara Kyo. That's literally the name of the video, which is about that, historical event. This was 1995. Yeah, it only came out in Japan. Crazy. If you haven't had a chance, go check it out. It was a history lesson. It was actually fun. I learned shit I didn't realize about. And Ken's very smart. Ken, apparently, he's like the one that, they get brought back in time. All right, here's the quick premise. They all get brought, they're supposed to hang out with Honda, Chun-Li, Ken, and Ryu, and then, and Honda. Then they get brought back in time, but then they all meet up in different periods of time. Like when Ryu finally meets Ken had already been there for 3 years, which blows my mind. So I'm like, bro, you're still wearing the same gi, you still have the same haircut. I'm tripping out. But he's learned all this stuff, and then he's explaining it, and Ryu is basically the audience, and you're learning from him, and then you meet Chun-Li, and then at that point, and this, that, and the other, and it's all about the Fujiwara Capital. It's just a big old history lesson, with a nice code of Street Fighter in front of it. I enjoyed it. It was still fun. So if you want to go check it out, go check it out. Like I said, it is free online. Just go and Google it real fast. Let me see. What do we got this week? We don't have fighting anniversaries this week because that was actually last week.
Oh, okay.
But the one thing we're going to jump into is our favorite Evo numbers, baby. Evo's coming up. If you didn't already know, which some people have already been tweeting about it, that they forgot Evo was happening and they feel like Sony hasn't been promoting it as much. Which I could kind of see it. I kind of forgot. It's literally in a week, August 6th to the 15th. And then that's the online series, because we have been doing the community events. We've covered some of them. Mm-hmm. But the actual Evo event is happening this weekend, and we got the numbers to see what it's looking like with the 5 games. Of course, we had Guilty Gear, Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, MK11, and of course Skullgirls that was added. I think it was added maybe a month ago as a main game. So shout outs to them. But the numbers are pretty insane. So let's start from the bottom. Skullgirls 541 kind of makes sense. They were kind of the last one to be added. They do have. I don't know if the new character is going to get released in time before that. I doubt it, because it wouldn't be in the best interest to release Umbrella before a big tourney. But, crazier things have happened before Evo happening, like UMVC3 discovering Infinites right before Evo, and they were still, permitted because we saw Sentinel do it as the first one on stream. That was pretty fun.
What was it? Street Fighter V having Balrog and Ibuki announced a couple weeks prior, and they were allowed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. MK11, 714 in exclamation points. No tournament in the Asian regions. Makes sense. This is more an Americanized EU game. You're not really going to see that many, if any, Asian players out there. Tekken 7, 1522.
Nice.
That's a good iron solid number.
Right.
Street Fighter 5 with 1854.
Damn.
Makes sense. They're with the new characters that we're dropping, we're getting. I don't know if we're gonna get Akira in time, but with the new characters, the updates that we've had over the past year,
I mean,
the
Oro
game is still solid. Oro's
maybe supposed to be already out, I think, and didn't come out last summer.
We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow for sure. With the Intel tournament series, the CPT, and all that, the game's been still strong. So 1854, solid number. But then here comes Strive. Remember, this is still online though. Once again, so this is, if you don't want even more of a testament as to what good netcode really can bring for you, Strive is coming at a very handsome, masculine, almost guilty-ish number at 300. No, not 300. 3,000.
Wow. That was it, 300? Man, you hyped me up for 300.
3,456 players, which is crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy. Almost double that of Street Fighter V.
Yeah. My goodness. Yeah, 3,456. That's going to be one hell of a bracket to run. Like, how many issues are you going to have? Like, if you already had issues before with people picking the wrong costumes in Street Fighter 4, then imagine these many people online. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The stages, how many times Kazuki or a stage is going to get picked? Like, hold on, dog. You can't play
Kazuki Beach or the Sky stage. Anyway, thanks to Ace King Offsuit, he's always got the numbers like that. Ever since way back, shout outs to Best of 3. Is it Best of 3? Best of 5 now, I think. I don't know. But shout outs to him. He was always the numbers guy. And he's really good with that. Even with the CPT points back in the day when they were doing that. So he's and he even has the Asia, Europe, Latin America numbers, all the Smash GG links in his tweet as well, backed up there. So that's dope.
Yeah. It is pretty dope. I'm stoked to see it. Those brackets are gonna be wild to watch unfold online. I do not envy the TOs that have to deal with that. But it is what it is for the community. What's best for the community, right? That's what you always have to think about. But yeah, that's gonna close out our randoms, and we're gonna get into our Focus Attack. This is gonna be our last segment. Oh, actually, no, second to last segment for today's episode. And we're gonna start it off with I believe the Twitter question, right? Because I see that we have this posted here. I think this just came through the other day. Yeah, so 25th. So shout outs to Big Syph with his question. So tagged us stating Meza. Fortunately, Meza ain't here, but let's pretend we're Meza, right?
Yeah.
Meza, I wanted to piggyback with a question about the Melty Blood segment of the show because we have so many fighting games and every game can't be the main event. What's the incentive for a new player to pick up the remake of the classic game today? Goes on to then ask in a subtweet, the tournament was the main reason back then, but today I don't know what y'all think. I'm gonna figure out a way to segue this to our next part. That's gonna.
Well, this kind of segues from his question last week. That's the funny part.
It kind of also segues from that question too.
Ago. Yeah.
But what should incentivize? I mean, it's really up to the player. No one's really putting a gun to your head, right, to tell you to play this game. It could be a multitude of things. One, you find the game interesting, right? You just see it and you're like, oh, that's pretty fun. It might be the style, might be animations, might be the system mechanics, right? It might be the game itself is just interesting.
Yeah.
Might be the homies are playing it. So you want to play with the friends and have a good time? Maybe your community. I don't know if those are so much incentives, but those are generally the common things, right, that bring you in. That's before you even think about tournament. That's just because it's fun, right? Fun. It's like a key word there. Mm-hmm. Also, maybe playing a classic game that there were mechanics that helped birth some games that maybe you're playing now.
Yeah.
and you want to go check out what that was like beforehand, right? Like, I'll throw this one out there, like Folks Attacks in Street Fighter and such, like Street Fighter 4. That wasn't new. That was in the EX series. A lot of people tend to forget that. They were, because it was a block. It was actually a guard break and everything. It didn't have. It wasn't the exact same, but it was literally called F Attack.
Okay.
In that game.
Yeah, I remember them. They were weird,
and
each character had a
very
different
strange.
one. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Things like that. I mean, I played EX, so I know the feel, but some people might want to go check it out because they were like, "Oh shoot, 3D Street Fighter." It's like, "Oh no, that's also been a thing before." So maybe they want to check it out because they're like, "Oh, okay."
It
maybe
was
it's not the
3D,
first
but it was
iteration.
still 2D playing field.
Yeah, it was 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2.5. So there's a lot of different incentives, but it really is up to the player, right? Like I picked up other games because of like interest more than anything else, not just especially classic games. Like for me, there's also nostalgia. Yeah. Some people that just remember the games, maybe didn't get a chance to play them, now have an opportunity. Like when HD Remix came out, I remember playing Street Fighter 2 a lot as a kid. I just never competitively played it. So when HD Remix came out, I was like, oh, cool. It's a chance for me to sit down and really play a game that's what I remember. It's not exactly the same, but the premise was there. And it made me go and sit down and learn and play more Street Fighter 2 and prep for it, which was pretty cool. Sure, that's not with the intentions of tournament. Because I was like, I'm not going to go into tournament. There's people that have decades on me on this game. I'm not going to bother. Not to say you need to follow that same train of thought, but that was just how I was thinking about it. But the incentive was because of nostalgia for me.
Yeah. So when I think about when you're talking about Melty Blood, you're looking at the Eunice crowd. So Eunice was getting pretty big. I would say it was going to be the main game. It was going to be main game 2 years. One of the main games in 2 years in the running. It was 2019, and then for 2020 as well.
It made it to things like the Red Bull Conquest series as well. It was getting hot.
Right. I think some people were sort of taken aback, like they didn't want to play the new update to the game. I don't know why. I remember not a lot of people really were like feeling the new update, but that's okay. I still think Eunice was hype, but seeing the way that Melty Blood is playing and that it's very, very close to how Eunice is, I think that's an incentive. So when in your use of the word incentive, Saif, that would be something that would bring in either a newer player that has seen the game before. But at the same time, it's funny when we talk about like so many events, like let's say Summer Jam. Summer Jam is coming up about August 28th, I want to say. And they're going to be having many, many games. Now, the problem I think these days with many games when you come to big events is that you're not going to have you have so many players there, but sporadic games. When you have one tournament for one game, I think that can bring that group together for that. Now, granted, you're going to have those people that play those games exclusively, But when I think about like Capcom Cup and Tekken World Tour, and those are bringing out people that actually play the game, that's the only game they play. Unless you're Punk. So what I'm trying to get at is, these days it's really hard to juggle multiple games unless you're like your Punks or your Chris G's. And I don't know how I got here, but what I'm trying to think is like, you can incentivize by making that maybe a main game for like one of your events. Like, hey, we're running Melty Blood this time. At it like a usual casual, like if you're having regular casual events at like a tournament, you have a fighting game on Tuesdays, right? We're still going to play all of our casual games, but our tournament today is going to be Melty Blood. It's new. It's the most recent. It's like Eunice, but those that are interested, that's going to be the tournament of the day. You can still show up and play your casuals and learn the game and play casuals of any other games. That's sort of what like the lab does. The lab used to do, so to speak. Because remember, there was a time when Eunice was getting hot that we all went to the lab and we all played and went there.
Yeah. I learned Eunice at the lab.
Right.
I learned Eunice at the lab. I picked up my character and then I proceeded to get yes, Phonon. And then I proceeded to get my ass whooped a bunch of times at the lab, asking questions. Good times.
Incentive would it's a tough word because it's a tough word to put because we already know like are we looking for the tournament win or are we looking for the Twitter hype or the Twitter or the Twitter followers or are we looking for the success? Are we striving for success, so to speak?
Are you looking for the content? Yeah,
Right.
it's really
Right.
like I said, the incentives outside of tournament are really coming from the player. Like all they can do is make a good game or make the best game they can make, and see if that's incentive enough for someone to pick it up. And the classic games are just kind of like the basis for that, right? If it's a classic game, that means there's been many iterations upon it since your Street Fighter 2s, your MK1s or 2s or whatever that have built on to what they are now. And you might look back and be like, how did my character play when it was first introduced? You might be curious. Curiosity could be another reason.
So what's funny is I wanted to sort of piggyback off of this. One of the things that I sort of looked for or strived for when I was playing was that audience reaction. Like I just wanted to show off my skills, and I still kind of do. That's why I look for the most stylish type of stuff. Like when I got a reset on, oh man, I forgot the VA player's name, but I did like a scroll reset on him, and the crowd went wild at like one of the early summer jams.
That's how you knew. That's how you knew you were like, I'm about this.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, all right, yeah. And then I think I went for it again and lost. And then Ray walked up to me and was like, yo, don't ever assist when your opponent has X Factor level 3. I'm like, I did? Oh snap, okay. But then I'm sitting here like I still got the crowd to go, oh, you know.
You got the swag over practical complex going. You're like, I will do a TAC Infinite with Dante just to swag on you versus like I could have killed you like 3 minutes ago and risk the match for the glory. Now y'all know what Static G deals with all the time and then he's an Eno player to boot.
Oh, so hopefully I go for command grab, but like the command grab it's hard, so it's a good excuse.
You go for swaggy reads. You go for air dash. I'm on the other side. I'm gonna instantly super and see if you press the button trying to react to me. Oh, you press the button. Now you eat this. That's what you do. Or you try to read them hard and try to then command grab one frame them on super because you're just like. That in itself is swag. It's not combos, but it's really swaggy reads are what you're doing. Anyway, hopefully, Scythe, that answered your question. We appreciate you sending that out. Sorry for it took a little bit longer, obviously, but wanted to kind of segue this because this is really the big thing. Like I said, that keyword when I said my kind of rant on it earlier is what we're talking about. So if you've been following any FGC, personalities out there, players, TOs, your general community and such, you've probably been hearing the hubbub. Especially after someone like Sonic Fox tweeted out recently about how they are like not feeling Strive, right? They're just like not feeling Strive. They're taking a break or, they're laying off for a bit. They're not feeling Strive. And now, it took that tweet for then the amount of a shitstorm to come out of people like, some people have been calling the game certain things. This is Street Fighter V with an air dash, right? Chris G's was stating that early on in the beta. They were seeing the writing on the wall, which, I'll be the first one to tell you with 100% confidence that that's okay. Because it seems like everyone's now up in arms about Strive being limited, about X, Y, and Z this, X, Y, and Z that it's overtaking still the concept of what really should be the basis of you picking up fighting games to play like that is for fun. FUN. It's the main thing. Because now, the good thing about it is that it's added a ripple effect, right? That, what is it, Moore's Law? Like, two forces of equal, a force of equal intensity will be met with another force of equal intensity or something like that. I can't remember. I'm probably butchering that, but
man. All right.
Oh, and a reaction causes.
Oh yeah, every action causes a reaction. It's sort of like when you text somebody, you expect for you to have a response. You expect that girl to hit you back up.
Hold on. Every action is meant for what is it? Every action. Man, I hate that I have to look at this. I might be even doing it wrong.
Every action has an equal reaction.
Or has an equal reaction. Let's go with that. Let's just...
yeah.
What is it?
Newton's third law? For every action,
Newton.
there's
I'm saying Moore's law,
reaction.
and Moore's law has to do with computers, and so that's something completely different that I was thinking about.
So you're
But anyway, yes.
Newton's third law. For every
Yeah, go
action,
on.
there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes. Okay. So the reaction right now has been vaguely mostly negative, right? People have just been like, oh, for one, Sonic Fox as a platform. Not to say this all deters from him or from them, but it kind of lit the fuse. The reaction as to the game, I'm not feeling it. XYZ, and they are not the only ones, the only influencers out there, or those that have a following. I've stated this, your Ally Joes and such have stated like, yo, I just want to play more Street Fighter 5. I'm kind of chilling on Stripe right now. Other players are feeling it. Then like I said, the slew of this game is not good. It's actually technically, we've been saying this, XYZ.
Yeah.
And I want to just be the first to just really tell you, like, that's okay.
Yeah, we've said
it's
that.
Fine.
It's known
fine.
It.
It's fine. Like it's okay to just enjoy the game. Who gives a shit? If you're having fun, who cares?
Yep.
I'm not here to state the game is perfect. It is far from perfect. It is a really good start. It is a really good base. Soul's an anomaly. Maybe some more defensive actions could work. Damage might be a little tweaked out. There's some nuttiness with I said Soul already, but it's so crazy I can say Soul twice. But that doesn't mean the game's not fun and that you can't have fun. And once again, that's okay. Like I said, there's no incentive. This is the part that I was really trying not to bring over from Big Sipe's questions. Like, no one's putting a gun to your fucking head to play this game. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
The 3,000 some people that are signed up for Evo are doing it because they're like, yeah, fuck it, I'm down.
Right.
No one here is saying, I'm down, you should be too. And if you don't, you're wrong. But it seemed that Twitter, or the Twitter eggs, the people that are just not really understanding the situation or are just really reading too far into it, are just going off. And I'm just like, bro, just play what you like. Who gives a shit? There's a circle, in psychology, there's a circle as to your thought process, how you think you're affecting people's lives or how people's other decisions should be affecting you. You should always be on what is the second to last circle, not the core where it actually affects you. You should just always live in that circle because it's not that serious. It never is. Or rather, another person's actions shouldn't be, unless they are directly affecting you. This is not one of those instances. If you're enjoying the game, enjoy the fucking game. Who gives a shit? When Biken drops, I'm gonna have even more fun.
Yeah.
I was already having fun with Gio. I'm playing Leo. I'm like, all right, cool. I might talk some shit. I'm playing I played million matches before this podcast. Static G was watching me. I was like, yo, this character's a mosquito. I gotta fucking swat her. Right? I don't care. I'm still having fun. Fucking Biken drops, I'm gonna have more fun. I don't give a shit. This is the people, especially the props to the people that have been playing games, the same old school games for ever. Because they're like, yo, it's just fun. Yeah. I don't care.
And if you're actually feeling burnt out by it, Sonic Fox is playing the game probably a lot more than any of us are. They're probably at a level of just that some of us may not even get to when it comes to fighting game playing. So for in that instance, I can understand burnout for a top player to be at that level. Understood.
Absolutely.
But for
burnout's
let's say for any regular player to say that they're burnt out, I don't know if you're at that level. And at the same time, if that's legit, I was gonna say something else. There are the other games to play. Like I said, I was playing P5.
Yeah, exactly.
I was playing Dead Space.
Where's the gun? There is none.
Right. There are other games you can play, especially during these times, like Street Fighter tomorrow. There's the other game you're gonna play. And there's a conversation in Discord that in our Discord that's happening between this. You had Leonix saying, "I just can't find the right character." I respect that because I look at the character select screen and I'm like, I don't want to learn any of these other characters. I have a chip, but my chip is I have to find I don't want to thread the needle and find all these combos like I already have with Ino, even though Ino's in my opinion bad. I can't open somebody up. Maybe she's tricky for you guys, but for me, it's hard to open somebody up, even though I have the high lows. Like some people are good at blocking. What can I say?
Yeah, it's I meant to bring up. Thank you for that. Like all the discussions, obviously in the Discord about it. I'm really enjoying like everyone's point of views on it, and it's absolutely fine. Like I said, nobody is saying the game is perfect. No one's forcing you to play. If you're coming in and you're like, if you want to be objective about it in terms of online games that be able to have competitive online games, you can play matches. Sure, the lobbies aren't the best, right? I'm not going to sit here and say like they're perfect either. But Strive is that, and Strive has been in a time where we weren't going to locals, or rather, locals were just not a thing until recently, and even then, right now, technically, they got to throw a coin flip out there with how things are right now. Strive literally did everything correct, and that's fine. That doesn't mean the game is perfect. That does not mean the game is perfect. That does not mean that you have to play the game. It just means a lot of people are playing it, and a lot of people are having fun, and that's the biggest thing. Is me saying to you is that it's okay. Relax, boy. It's okay. Relax. It's cool.
It's okay, mijo.
Mijo,
it's okay.
It's okay, mijo. It's okay. Está bien. Like you might not have, but there's legitimate reasons. Burnout is fine. Yeah. Burnout doesn't have to be multi-evo game-winning titles and grinding out exhibitions. Is that like your Sonic Foxes? It could be like, yo, bro. Like I just played this game a whole bunch. I'm chilling right now, and that's fine. You might not have the character that you're playing. It might not be there yet. Maybe when Biken, Slayer, Jacko, fucking Chaos comes out, one of them ends up being your cup of tea, and you're like, fuck yeah, now the game's fun again, right? In the meantime, no one's here trying to tell you like you have to play. And I get the other side of it though, is because like maybe everyone's playing, and you want to be part of the group, right? You want to play with everybody. Maybe the homies are playing, and you want to, but you're just not feeling it. And you feel it might get excluded, and like that's fine too. Like it doesn't mean it's gonna always be like that, and it doesn't mean that you have to play that game. There's plenty of other games you could play.
Yeah, I said it. I think I said it last week when I was playing a friend of mine at their house. I'm just sort of like, does anybody else want to play? No. All right. Well, I'm kind of tired of playing them. Not that I'm like we had fun. The Magikarp guy that comes into the into that stream. Yeah, we were playing, and he doesn't play anybody else other than Chip, and he barely plays the game, and I'm just like, am I getting bored because I don't know many other characters, and I'm getting tired of my own character? Like, I just don't want to play the game all the time. Like, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with turning off the game when I'm like either, all right, I'm gonna do something else, or I'm losing too much. I'm getting tilted. Like, I'm at that point where I'm like, when I'm tilted, I'm done playing the game. Same thing happens in Street Fighter. Happened because oh god no, I had but I'm over that step where I used to just keep wanting to play. Maybe that's just an age thing for me. Maybe when I was 20, when I was in college, back when, because I didn't want to do I didn't want to do homework or anything or write a paper, that I would play constantly. And tell you what, that was a different time. Yeah, that was a different time because streams were, if you got your name on the stream, you were like, oh man, I'm good. But yeah, just play what you like. And if you like this game, enjoy it, but don't just stop playing it because somebody else is getting tired of it. Like, yeah, exactly. Are you burnt out for real? No.
Yeah, they're not you, and their opinions are their opinions, and it's fine. They could be correct. They could be incorrect. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you.
I roll my eyes. It does not affect you in any way. Listen, I roll my eyes every time Tiso talks about Sailor Moon. But you know what? He's good at the game. He likes the game, and he's good at it. And I gotta shut my mouth and hold that.
Yeah, shout outs to Tiso. I don't know who he is. Go look up Super Tiso. Yeah. He's a good homie out in the East. But yeah, that's really, if you're gonna take anything from this rant, this old man rant, it's just play what you like, and if you're competitive, pick a top tier. That's literally like all you have to. Those are the two things you got to remember: play what you like, if you enjoy the game, and then if you want to be competitive in it, pick a top tier. Sorry, it's just facts. It's just how it is. It has worked out wonders for a lot of people, and the data is there. So, yeah, if you guys want to get some more input on it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Of course, on our Discord, we will post up in a second. But with that, we have one last segment we want to get into. We're closing out the Folks Attack. We've got two quick PC mods. I told you guys I'm bringing them back, and I wanted to show them off. Yeah, it was last minute. I threw them on. Let's look at the first one. We've got a Robo May skin. Yeah, creepy as hell, but has been long requested because of that whole. I forget which presentation it was where you saw May, then you saw Robo May in there. Hasn't been part of the story in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, we've only had Robo Kais, but someone took the mod on and said, "Yep, we're making it." And I think it's creepy looking, but I feel there's a certain charm to it.
The legs creep me out, man.
I feel the eyes as soulless and as void of life as they are is probably how every May player feels when they play her anyway. So
for me, the face is fine because it has the creases. But if only the legs would have the creases, then I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's just
the
weird.
legs should have
zombie legs, man.
Yeah, a little bit zombie-like on the legs. This is done by Small Nerd. You can get this on Game Banana. It is completely free.
Still good.
Yeah. This is version 1. Who knows? There'll be some updates to it. Speaking of updates, I thought this was really cool. I found this last minute, and I was like, damn it. I wish the colors were more like this. So someone made some Tron Legacy color schemes for pot. Obviously we have if you're on the console side, you can get the Tron version of the colors, or that ultimate version color where everything's like neon blue for everybody. I just call it the Tron colors. I'm not the only one. But for those that are Tron Legacy heads, obviously the sequel, you'll know that they kind of tweaked those a little bit, and someone took it and brought it to pot. And I like it. It's not as in your face as the other color. The other color seems very obnoxious at times.
The blue
the
blue and black one?
The blue
from the game?
is so saturated. It's really bright. This is now a little clean, a little more elegant to it. Especially
it's
the blue
literally
one. It puts me at ease.
It's an LED light instead of an airplane light.
Yeah, exactly. It's true RGB. Real gamer like for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Tron pot. I'm hoping to see this applied to other characters. Maybe they do an entire cast. That would be really sick. This is done by CG64. Once again, you can find this on Game Banana. This is taking up multiple colors for a pot. But yeah, if you're a pot main, if you're a Jan, Fan, Fab, Fan, why are all the pot mains only have 3 letters in their names? I don't know. It's a thing, I guess. Maybe it's because pot only has 3 letters, and that's what we all call Potemkin. Yeah. Maybe that's the case. I might have just solved a really unanswered or unquestioned mystery there that no one really gave a shit about. But regardless, the one thing that's not in question is that this show is over. It's done. Yeah, the segues are back. We're good. I want to say thank you to everyone that hung out with us, of course, here live on twitch.tv/mash those buttons, or if you're listening on a podcast, we appreciate you hanging out for another episode of Double Tap. You guys can, of course, follow this show at Double Tap FGC. You can follow Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on Twitch and on Twitter, of course. You can follow me at CrashTagVS. Feel free to tag us in, anything really related to the FGC. Would love to hear about what's going on out there. My feeds are already packed as it is, but when I get tagged, I tend to focus on that a little bit more. Make sure to follow Meza, even though he's not here, at Meza FGC. I think he just recently, he's been grinding it out in tournament. I think he got 9th place at the last Levo or something like that. He's doing really, really good. His Kai's come a long way. Super proud of the guy. Go give that man a follow. And he's always open for sets too when he streams. So if you want to get some good matches on, definitely go hit him up. Or Static Gorilla as well. He definitely plays a whole lot. He's more of a night owl though. He's more of a night owl. Just
second shift
up
boys.
There. Yeah, graveyard basically.
Oh God.
Yeah, so make sure to also follow Mash Those Buttons at the Mash Network on Twitter to find out when our other shows go live or when our other new episodes go live as well. Easiest way for you guys to get a notification. And also make sure to join us on Discord, mash.gg/Discord. You get a nice little FGC flair right there for Double Tap. Post up there your streams. If you're playing some matches, we'd love to see it. If you want to get some matches, that's definitely the spot to go to as well. And also, if you want to get into the conversations or community questions or just, what we're talking about here on the Focus Attack, we're usually there lurking, talking, but then we have another community, a bunch of other really awesome people there to talk about and talk to about fighting games. So make sure to go join us, smash.gg/Discord. And of course, you guys can help us out by supporting the show by sharing, supporting, by likes, retweets, review and reviewing and rating the podcast. That's the other R word. And rating the podcast helps a whole lot. It really puts us in front of that algorithm, of course, at times, and we appreciate it. And we read out all the reviews. Any review that happens, whether it's 1 star, 5 star, we want to hear it. We want everyone to know how people are feeling. So, for one, we can get an agreement. It's is this for real? Am I too nasally? Are we talking over each other? We want to hear these kinds of things. All right. We love the feedback. We want to improve the show as much as possible. Maybe you want to see some kind of content in here. We would love to hear about that too. So make sure to give us some support there. Of course, once again, by sharing it, or by giving us the rating reviews helps out a whole lot. But that's going to do it for us, of course, this week. We're looking forward to seeing what Capcom's got in store tomorrow for their summer update 2021 year long coming for that. Right. But we'll, of course, cover that for the next episode. So if you want to make sure to hear about that, make sure to stay tuned for the next episode. Stay tuned after the show to hear about our other shows here on the MTV Network. Until next week, remember, play what you like. It's all for fun. No one's putting a gun in your head. And don't respect plus frames. They're only plus if you let them be plus.
Always wake up
DP.
DP.
Be very clear. Always wake up DP. All right? See you guys next week. Later.
Thanks for listening to a Mash Those Buttons production. If you enjoyed the show, you should check out mashthosebuttons.com and see if any of our other shows might interest you. All of our shows are available on your podcast platform of choice like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. If you enjoy our content, you can help support Mash Those Buttons by becoming a patron at patreon.com/mashthosebuttons, where you can receive Patreon bonuses for as little as $1 a month. You can connect with Mash Those Buttons at twitter.com/The Mash Network, facebook.com/mashthosebuttons, or join our Discord at mash.gg/discord.